back if you're returning. I just thought I would jump in. It's kind of late at night, and I was trying to do some planning. And, you know, sometimes when I can't sleep, I start prepping for other things. So, right now, I'm currently working in my, well, um, writing, well, working in my bullet journal. Um, I carry, well, I work out of a letter size bullet journal, and I'm trying to set up everything I need for the coming month. And I am missing a writing utensil. Oh no, here it go. So how's everybody doing? I hope your holiday was well. Um, this is Friday, you guys. Today after Thanksgiving, and I know there are a lot of Black Friday sales going on, which really they've been going on since the 1st of November. Let's just be honest. Um, I think I've been hearing about Black Friday sales since October, but I did jump on for a reason. Let me give you all an idea of what I'm doing. I am setting up my bullet journal. It is an A4 size. A4 size in bullet journal is a letter size, like a sheet of paper. So this is what I plan of, and I like to design it. I like to design it, so I give you an idea of like what what one of my pages may look like. Let me go to one. Okay, okay, that has a lot of personal, but I did jump on here for a reason. So let me get why I am on here. Um, because it is the holidays are coming up. I know that we are inclined to go to the store, get Christmas gifts for family members, loved ones, and everybody. But I do want to talk about um, a little bit of politics. And I don't want to hear anybody in my chat saying that they're not political. Um, I don't want to get into the odds and everything, but I don't know. Um, and really, I don't care for anybody's political ideology. I really don't. What I wanted to share is that, you know, I've been hearing this conversation, and this is not everybody. So if it's not you, you don't need to say anything. But this conversation with a lot of the younger generations is that, um, you know, the civil rights movement wasn't, um, they're not dealing with those same social issues anymore. And we've never, as a community, stopped dealing with those issues. Hi, how you doing? It's late, so I just thought I would jump on it and have a quick chat with you guys. Um, I want to call this my Black Friday chat, but the reason why I say that is because um, I'm on BookTube, and I pay attention to a lot of booktubers, their recommendations. I get a lot of good recommendations from you guys who are, if you're a booktuber. I don't take every recommendation. I don't take recommendations from booktubes that are, I mean, books that are, they're just everybody's purchasing them. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's in the middle of the night, and I'm just working on my planner, and I'm jumping on here to. It was something that was on my heart that I want to share with everybody, more or less. The things that are going on and the things that I am seeing. Um, next Friday or Saturday marks the 70th anniversary of the Montgomery boycott. Now, this boycott started December the 5th, 1955. And the residents, they boycotted because the bus company, the black residents, let me correct that. Black residents, they boycotted the bus company because they were not being treated equally as citizens. They were told to get on the back of the bus. They were told to pay their fare in the front. Like, this was the process. They would have to get on the front of the bus, pay their fare, get back off the bus, and enter on the back of the bus. And in this process, um, if so, say for instance, if the bus got crowded, and there were no more seats for white people to sit down, black people, they either had to stand up, and if it got too crowded, they had to get off. And so, just knowing that and having to live through that, I think sometimes, because I don't have to experience it, and a lot of younger people, they never experienced that. They don't understand the magnitude of what a lot of people have done to make sure that you have those basic rights today, to hold up in spaces where you were never invited. And so I'm looking at all of these channels. I have a guest, you guys. Come on, little mama, get down. I'm looking at it, and don't get me wrong. Anybody, you can do whatever you want. Um, who do you like more, Trump or Kamala? Sorry, can't say her name. Um, both of them are politicians. Now, and I would get back to that. Like, I don't dislike anybody. Politicians are not our friends. That's what we need to remember. They're not our friends. They're civil servants, and their job is to work for us, the people. And so when we get into politics, like, who do you like? I don't do personality politics. I really don't. Um, Politics is my life and my livelihood in terms of, you know, things that we can get done for our community and for ourselves and the people that we love. So, yeah. Now, if you want to ask me who's funny, I think Trump is very funny. I use a lot of his jokes. But in terms of a politician, yeah. Anyway, so what I'm saying is that I am noticing a lot of, um, unfortunately, people doing these large book hauls from Target and what's that place, Walmart, and these are places who have canceled their DEI division. And if you don't know what DEI stands for, it stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so, um, and Amazon. And so it gets tricky, when you want to support someone who has contract with these companies, because they have outwardly decided to denounce diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so it's unfortunate because it's something not affecting just the Black community. Okay. My cat, she likes to run around 12 o'clock at night. I don't know why she does that. But it's not only affecting the Black community, it is affecting shareholders as well. Because a lot of Black people and some of our white counterparts, thank you if you are supporting the cause, had decided to boycott Target. They decided for solidarity. Um, and I'm not telling anybody what to do with their dollars. Some people are in locations in the world where there is no other store but a Target or a Walmart. So I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the ones who have access and the ability and the capability to support support companies that support a healthy economy. And I'm not going to say that, you know, who you should or who you should spend your money with. But I do not support corporations for one. I support individuals. And so when it becomes too big to the point to where I have to funnel through all these channels. I'm gonna give you an example, funnel through channels. Amazon. Amazon is a conglomerate. Okay. They are, you know, they part owners of Whole Foods, they're part owners of Audible, they're part owners of a lot of bigger companies that I would do business with at one point, but at some point or the other, I had to decide, you know what, this is not the time, because I believe in fairness. I believe in everyone having an opportunity. Should you decide a person's ability based on their color of their skin? Absolutely not. However, if you know and understand the history of the United States, enslaved people, then the Jim Crow laws, and then, you know, the redlining, then the civil rights, you know, it's stop and frisk. I can go on and on and on and on how black people have been oppressed since our ancestors, or most of our ancestors, because you have some people, some Africans who came over here willingly, have been oppressed in this society. And that, you know, blacks and other minorities, we are the engine of the United States. We are the engine of the United States. So if we're not standing up against corporations who decided that, you know, America's actual face should look like this, and you don't see your face in there, and you're still doing business with them, then you're giving them power. If you decide not to vote, because this is the one thing I've been hearing a lot of people say, well, I'm not political, you know, I don't, both sides are doing this. Both sides are not doing that. One thing I would say, the Democrats, I would say their biggest flaw is being too goddamn nice. And this is why I could not be about a politician, because you know, I'm just the type, I'm an outspoken person. I would not be standing up for all of this stuff that they're doing, playing nice, you know, playing nice politics. There's no such thing as nice politics. You know, it is a fight to the finish, because their only goal is to work for you. They're not your friends. They're not clickbait. They're not the funniest. These are people who are enacting laws and policies that are affecting our lives. They're, you know, determining, you know, how our housing and in school systems, which that is a whole different other thing that, you know, we don't think about. But on top of this, we're constantly throwing money in the pot to allow them to treat us the way they want to treat us. And it's unfortunate, because I don't think a lot of people get it. It's like you spending money with the enemy. You're spending your money with people who don't care if you lived or died. So when I see, and like I said, forgive me, and at some point I really don't care who this offends. When I see, you know, intelligent, well-spoken booktubers giving this laundry list of books that they have bought from Target, you still patronizing Target after all the shit they did to the black and brown community. Really? Really? You're still patronizing Walmart, buying books from them? Now, I understand you go there, you may need a service that you couldn't get nowhere else, but you're still patronizing them after they pretty much told you, F you. We don't need, you know, we're going to do what we want to do anyway. And we're still, you know, supporting these. It's ludicrous. It's kind of like, why don't you dig your own grave and lay in it? Like, this is how easy, you know, these corporations, they feel like they don't have to abide by their customers, because someone's going to go into a Walmart. I have families and friends who still patronize both of these places. Don't get me wrong. Everybody, they can do with their economics as they please. But here's the thing, we're never going to get ahead as a society, black, white, brown. I don't care what your background is. If we're allowing corporations to treat us like shit and we're still giving them our money. And so I'm kind of not I'm kind of heartbroken when I see that, because I'm like, I'm watching these intelligent people talk about great books, and yet they sit up here saying that I bought like 15 books for Walmart, and I'd be like, what the fuck? I'm sorry. What I may have, I hope they don't take this off, but I have to shake my head, because I think it's utter ridiculous that there's no self-awareness to how you are contributing to your own demise. And then we're not teaching the younger children about our history. You have people on there thinking that they walked into these type of positions of privilege because they were smart. No, you were not. You were not the chosen one. And so all of this is going to be a reflection a few years from now, because what you don't know is that, well, you probably do know. And that's why I said I I gravitate towards the good book community, because there's a lot of good, solid booktubers on there with insightful, intelligent conversations. But I cannot pretend that when I see this, I'm like, one part of your brain is saying one thing, but you're doing the complete opposite. I love seeing booktubers that support indie authors. I love seeing booktubers who give references to those small authors that you cannot find in the big chain stores. Your black authors, your Spanish speaking authors, just your indie authors, but it's crazy how we are oblivious, how we are contributing to our own carnage. Now, I just sat here tonight, and I got my list of books that I want to purchase, and these are books that I've had on my list for a while. So, at the end of the year, I like to treat myself to like at least 5 new books. This has been a tradition I've been doing for like years and years and years. When my sons, they were younger, for Christmas, they would get 5 books. So I always buy myself 5 books at the end of the year. So I'm looking at places where there are small stores, people who have their own website, because I just decided that I don't want to give my money to Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos don't give a fuck about me having a roof over my head, about my retirement. I don't want to give him none of my money. I don't want to, I don't want to do certain things in certain communities. And I know this sounds like a rant, but it is really frustrating to see how we are not organized, and we don't understand, like the harm that we're doing to each other by just contributing to just purchasing one book at the wrong store. On the 5th of December of this year, it will mark 70 years since the Montgomery boycott. And I hope, I hope that, the younger generation really sit down. And, when I say younger generation, I have people around my age. Now, I'm not going to tell you my age. I'm not a spring chicken. But it's just over consumerism that we're seeing, and it's not the over consumerism. It's kind of like we're giving our money to people who don't care if your community or you exists today, tomorrow, or ever. It's sad. And so I don't want to rant on. I'm just up working on my planner. I'm gonna give you guys a tease of what I'm doing. I'm working on like mood trackers and stuff like that, trying to set my planner up. I work in a letter size planner. So just up doing this before I go to bed, and I was watching some videos. I'm not going to tell you who I was watching, and even though I like these YouTubers' contents, it's just heartbreaking to see this. It is really heartbreaking to see this. Now we got some comments on here and they're coming late, and I do apologize again. I'll be leaving now. I don't support racists. Yes. Well, I don't think that somebody said I don't support racists. Um I don't think I don't support racists either. I don't support people who are trying to get rid of a community because they don't like the color of their skin. And this is why people don't talk about this on social media about racism, because people, you assume because I talk about black people, um, and the pride we should have in our achievements makes me a racist. But nobody says anything to the corporations that are dismantling um, black and brown communities. We should all be able to live in a society where we have equality. We should all be able to not fear that, you know, losing a job means that, our livelihood would be forever, changed, because we have power in our dollars and in our numbers. So I don't know when you'll see this video. If you see this before the end of the season, I ask that you support your local small businesses and stop giving your money to these huge corporations who really don't need you. I mean, they're there to, it's really the shareholders. So let me be careful, because some of these companies are really good companies. But I'm talking about, just mindlessly giving our hard earned money away. And I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how easy the job is. We all work hard to have the finances and in the security that we have, even if it's not as financially sound, or the abundance is not as big. You know, we pay for these luxuries that we have in our life, and so just be mindful. Like, we have until what, from now until Christmas. If you can support your local small businesses, if you can support, that person down the street who has a business, support them. Amazon don't need your support. Like, Amazon, if 5% of us decided that we're going to support the person down the street, that's bringing money back into our communities. If I decide that I want to buy a pair of shoes, I'm not going on Amazon to buy shoes. I'm going to find my local shoe dealer. And yes, I may pay more, but you know what? I am securing, employment and a livelihood for someone down the street from me. I mean, it doesn't add up. So I want to say this. The end is that, because I don't like to be on here at over 30 minutes. Um, the point is this: we create a society that we want. We really do. And whether you are for equality, whether you are for diversity or inclusion, if you don't know what that is, please look it up, because this is not the conversation for that. Um, Black people and then brown people have been fighting for equality since the inception of America. They really have. And we have made progress, but it just seems like we're backtracking. We're backtracking because we decided that the rich should have more than they're allowed. And we do that every time we are not mindful of how we spend our dollars and who we give our dollars to. So uh, this is one rant that I wanted to hold off, but you see this chaos coordinator? It was chaos. Like I'm thinking in my mind, what are we doing? I want to leave this world a much better place than when I entered it. And when I mean by that is that, you know, I'm trying to be more mindful of my environment and how it impacts long term. And that could be in anything that I do. So, this conversation is not to offend anybody. If something I said offends you, put it in the comments. We can chat about it. But one thing I will say, I would never apologize for um, wanting everyone to have freedom, justice, and equality. I would never apologize for those who, hi, whoever that is. I think a comment is coming up late, but hi. I would never apologize for everyone having the opportunity to live a just life, to acquire those dreams, to, you know, reach for the stars. And I know that I've seen some exceptional book reviews, and I follow. I'm telling you, a lot of booktubers. Every booktuber, I think every new algorithm that I come across, and I see their content, and that's another thing. I am a big supporter of just subscribing to people because people are not on booktube just to talk into the ether. They're there to build community, and if you're here to build community, I'm going to build community with you. So let's just have these conversations, and let's be mindful of how we are promoting the books that we purchase, and who are we giving our dollars to, because we have fought too hard to have any kind of um, voice in society to give it all up for a few dollars. So I hope you find your small book dealer. I hope you find your small mom and pop shop that you can support. And let's not give too much of our money to these corporations, because these corporations are not pouring into the communities like they should. They're just not. And so if we decided for 30 days not to give Amazon anything, I'm saying if 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 say for instance, because I haven't dealt with Amazon, I don't know how long. I think since January of this year. Yeah. Um, but if we decide as a community, as a collective, to say, you know what, for Black Friday, I'm going to look for that mom and pop shop or that small business owner and support them. And it may be a little bit more expensive, because when you're buying from smaller businesses, of course, you know, the cost is going to be a little, it's going to be a little more, because they have to factor into all these other costs. But I would rather pay $5 more, you know, to have a personal relationship with someone than a bot online. That's just me. That's just me. Um, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off. I've set up some of my December pages in my planner, and I was just on here for a quick chat, and I just wanted to share those thoughts with you. And if you have anything to say, just leave them in the comments. And for everybody who has stopped by, I do apologize. I read this if you are live, otherwise, it's pre recorded. Uh, I have not really read the chat. Now, let me read some of these messages. I'm leaving now. I don't support racists. I don't know where that person got that from because I didn't say anything racially triggering. Notice how she's trying to make other people sound bad, but she's only bringing up non-white authors. I don't understand that. And our citizens eat it up. I don't know. I don't know. It's just extreme capitalism. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna let you all be you who you are. Um, yeah. Anyway, um, you know, if I will say this, and I sometimes they have bots on here. Um, if someone really want to have the conversation about capitalism, about the government, the Constitution, the Republic, not Republicans, them too, and Democrats. But if you guys want to have meaningful conversations about that, we can. Um, and the thing about it is, I'm going to bring up Black authors because I'm a Black woman. Sorry if that offends you, but I'm not sorry. I am going to bring up marginalized communities because Black and Brown people are normally the ones who are marginalized. And so it's not racist, it's not one siding, it's just the facts. This is why I say people need to go and learn their history. So, in saying that, thank you for stopping by, though. Hey, if you all have any questions, leave them in the chat. Otherwise, I will see you in my next chat. Good night, everybody.